knowing others' point of view. But when I come to this team and we were doing the robot, I used to think their point of view. Since she told me to use SpongeBob, I said okay, can. Then other thing when they yeah, that's it. That's the thing. When others also, whenever they say something, I hear it, I accept it and do for it. I think that's the thing I learned from this project.
Cool. Anyone else?
Well, the thing I learned is actually how to cooperate with my teams, because sometimes when you do this kind of project, you think about your ideas before coming to others. So you actually, so what I learned that I can get from my friend's idea, then only think of my idea, then we only do our robot. So that is what I learned so far.
Anyone else want to add?
I'm learning all about just how to build a robot.
Okay. That's fine.
For me, I think I learned about how to go out of my comfort zone and start working on something that I first thought is impossible.
We all thought
Yeah,
that this is impossible.
Yeah, and we cooperate well and all that.
Okay.
So,
So what's like the main challenge you will face during the time of the show?
We cannot
Like
rotate
it
until
move.
now.
Yeah,
making it move is quite
Yeah, the turning is the problem.
Turning is a real challenge.
and
Yeah,
also
it's a
to
challenge.
making ideas into reality is sometimes not that easy as well.
And the way is not powerful. When we very funny, moving or very lift up, it's step by step can move.
And also travel management, because sometimes if we need to get something, we have to go, someone has to drive from here all the way to one shopping mall and then come back here again, so it's
Yeah.
actually very stressful.
So your robot now, does it can it go up the slope? That day it doesn't really.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
that's because we only
Because of
got
the
one
wheel,
motor
actually.
and one of the motor is actually broken. Two motor, one motor is actually
Yeah.
broken.
Oh, okay. So now it's working really.
Well, we have to
Yes,
right.
test it out
we
again.
tested out.
So you all can spend the whole. As long as you want the test it later.
Okay.
Do you have class after?
No, we don't have. I think you have, right?
Yeah.
He has accepted him V3 or we can do this.
Yeah, just go ahead and use it as long as you want today until they post.
Okay.
That's fine. Then yeah, so I think you all have okay mentioned it, more or less,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Except that you need to test it later.
Yeah, test it.
So yeah, actually that's it. Because we have 15 teams, only got 8 minutes for each of you.
Oh.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, can you get me tribals?
Try process.
Thank you.
Welcome. Fine. Hi, everybody.
Yeah.
Don't have to be so formal. That's it. So basically, I just want to know from your what are your main learnings. Okay, let's just start one by one. What's the main learning that you have had through this entire experience?
Firstly, I think it's a new experience because we learn to use the Arduino kits, we learn how to program the Wi-Fi and everything, we learn about what is torque, how to change the gear ratios to reduce torque and make the robot move even though some move on the ground. During our second assessment, it didn't move because there was not enough torque. Yeah, I think we need stuff like that.
Anyone else want to add to that?
Vitamin.
Sorry?
Vitamin.
Determination.
Vitamin to do until the robot is move. First time we do it doesn't move. Don't know what's challenge inside it. So we need to find the challenge and then we try to fix it and then finally it can move. So okay.
The ladies of the team have anything there?
Designs.
Well, it's okay. So, well, maybe you all can share what the main challenges you all faced throughout this project.
We work hard.
One of the challenges was trying to keep everything in budget. We kind of achieved it because we are over budget by about only 20 to 30 ringgit.
Oh.
Yes, okay. Then the other thing is learning how to improve the robot. Because last week we thought the robot was okay, quite good already. Then after the oral assessment, we came to know that it's not actually good. It can't actually go up to 510 yet. So it's another challenge for this week.
So have you all overcame that challenge?
Not yet.
So you're gonna try later.
I'm gonna try.
So anything else you want to? Is there any other issue that you want me to ask you?
The robot can't actually go in a straight line. It
Okay.
always turns to one side.
Which side?
Some challenges
Right.
like what can
How is your mechanism is?
Just the back wheel is pushing it. The front wheel is just a dummy wheel.
Your back wheel is powered by a gearbox, a single gearbox, or
double twin gearbox. They got 2 engines. Motors.
they are isolated from each other, right?
The other motor controller type B, you could actually adjust the speed, but this one you can't change. So
Are these two the same types of motor?
same type.
That's interesting. Maybe you try swapping out the same motor controller with. So this is type it's type A, right? You find another thing that's type A, you swap motor controllers and see whether it straightens it out. Maybe you just try it if you have to. Yeah, that's okay. Is there anything else you want to ask?
We have the difficulty to what games at the slope 30 degree.
Doesn't go up or
No, let's go up, but sometimes like
It's like this. You go up, then you jumping and
jumping will come back down.
sometimes it goes up, then sometimes it jumps and it moves like that.
What's your gear ratio?
It's type C. I'm not sure about the numbers.
Type C. Type C as in the second fastest or the second slowest?
Second slowest.
Second slowest. Jumps. Probably not heavy.
the second highest top.
So we should try to add more weight on it.
Just a little bit. But I mean, so you're powering your Adreno
We're using nano battery.
using our batteries on. Maybe try and make it a little bit. Maybe put some rubber bands around the wheels. That's something you could try to use to correct your alignment as well. Like one wheel with rubber band, one wheel without. So it forces it to turn in the other direction. Think about it. Okay. That's it.
Thank you.
You get me get HCC.
What cutter is it?
Okay.
Thank you.
So he just wants to find out what you all have learned throughout your process.
Yeah, quite a lot. Like programming. Yeah, we didn't know how to program. Then with a little bit of practice, we actually kind of know how to code and shit.
Is it? So, so I think you'll face a lot of challenges, right? Because you're learning about
a
compiler.
lot.
But what do you think is the main challenge you all face, like the greatest one?
Actually, the hardest thing for us is the communication part because we are from different sections, so it's hard to get together and work together on the content.
So this is interesting. So you all had like the hardest technical wise project.
Yeah.
And the biggest challenge you all find is the communication.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah, it's interesting. So,
And the material.
Yeah, to acquire the materials is quite hard because we need 4 of the same motors, 4 of the same ESCs to work on it.
so let's say for your communication part, how did you all overcame the thing, or are you still like facing the challenge?
No, we already done with it because we feel that if we don't do anything by that time, we won't actually accomplish anything. So, like on a Saturday, we grouped up and then we discussed like saying, okay, during our break time, we should go and do our correctors. We sacrifice some time and the effort will be worth it.
So you all right? How is it coming along? Is it?
Yeah, it's okay.
Have you test flight it? Is it-
Yeah, it's already levitating a bit, but then we still can't wait forward because when we use the codes that I written, like 3 motors work but only 1 doesn't work, so I have to do some improvise them. Yeah,
But it levitates.
yeah, it is.
So anyway, this is like off the record. Mushan actually wants to talk to you all.
Okay.
So if you all have the time, do you later
Today?
today? Do you also have classes today?
I have
Anyone of you?
classes.
Chemistry.
Chemistry and maths. I'm not sure about maths if it's here or not.
So what time will you all be done today?
I finish at 6.
Okay.
Tomorrow maths. Oh, okay. Finish at 4.
You have 4.
Okay.
Cool. I think yeah, if you can, you all should go see Musha. And he wants to talk to you all.
What time?
4. At 4. I'll let him know.
Okay. Everyone in the group has to share?
It's best if lah. It's best if everyone is there. But I mean, if you all have an issue, then is tomorrow okay for you guys?
Yeah, tomorrow is
What's the time frame for tomorrow?
before the class starts or yeah, before the class starts because I finish at 5:30.
I mean, how about like that lah? If you all cannot meet him today, then I'll tell him to meet you all after class tomorrow. Okay?
Okay.
Do you have class after that
I
class
have
tomorrow?
class after this.
Oh crap. And I'll let him know lah anyhow.
Okay.
So yeah, actually that's it.
Alright.
He just wants an update lah. So if you all get Hades.
It's okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Alright.
Hey man.
Hey. Terima kasih. Yeah. So well, basically, Mushan just wants like an update now on this. What he wants to on this. So basically, what he wants to know is what is the main learning that you will get it from this entire experience?
Well, so far, teamwork, understanding each members, and cooperate within the team.
Understanding communication. Anyone else want to add?
What materials do you need to use to build the robot?
The perfect
That's your learning throughout the process. Anything else?
So far, I think so. Because if want to assemble, everyone can assemble, but just that we need teamwork to do all these things. Even if you give to one person can do all of this.
Okay. Fair enough. So throughout the process, I think you have faced a lot of challenges, right? So what can each person tell me what do they think is the main challenge you all face?
The main challenge,
Yeah.
and everyone is not cooperating.
That's what you.
Yeah, that's fine.
Time management.
I would say like when not everyone is quite committed at first to the project, like they take the project quite lightly, but at the end then everyone managed to like realize the weight of the project and achieving their efforts.
Overcoming each task, the beauty of each task.
That's the greatest challenge.
Say building the robot, because in the beginning we have totally no clue about this Arduino and stuff, and we have to learn everything from the basics.
Okay. So do you think you've all overcame that challenge really?
Yes, we do.
What challenges you have faced?
Yes.
Nice. Okay, so besides all that, is there anything else you want to ask me about this? Is it working really? That's what I asked you.
But the Wi-Fi thing,
Yeah, only
the
the Wi-Fi.
router.
So rough, I think now.
Yeah. Always
Where
disconnect.
to see? Okay. I mean, I don't know whether you want to try to connect it to your own devices. Fine, you don't really have to connect to, no worries. But of course, you have to reprogram the thing.
Yeah, reprogram is not a challenge. Just that I'm afraid the same thing will happen again. We will disconnect again and again and again.
So I mean, you have to test it extensively. That's why today, do you still have any classes after this?
You got chemistry.
Chemistry, not all of you. Or?
Not all of us.
So, well, basically, right, today I'm just gonna leave the track open. You're gonna test it until they come and close the gear. It's usually around like 6 or so. Just go ahead.
So the track will be here until
The track will actually be here until sometime next week,
sometime next
where
week.
they will move it outside.
Oh, so the race is at the amphitheater?
No, the race will be directly outside here.
Huh? Outside here?
Yeah, so I will make an announcement later.
Okay.
So, yeah. I think that's it. You all need anything else from me?
So, because what I want to know I already asked you before.
Okay. Okay, sure. So, yeah, you.
Okay,
thanks.
thank you, Mike.
Hey, can you guys help me get origins?
Origins.
Yeah. Thank you.
Welcome.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, boss.
Me from my boss.
It's okay.
Let's first.
That's good. Yeah, it's easy.
Screw him up.
Bro, record it, bro. Thank you. It's okay, it's okay. Hey, sit. Okay. So it's not really a very formal thing. It's just that we start once an update. For you guys lah.
Okay.
Nonetheless. So yeah, he wants to know like what does each of you think is your main learning for this entire process? And you want to start?
Punctuality and deadline.
That's your main learning. Okay.
Bên đường này programming developers
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
Do we have precision on every single thing that we do?
Precision and everything.
And I mean, have to be precise.
Oh, to be precise, okay.
Like, what do we learn throughout this?
What do you think is your main learning strategy?
Throughout this project, how to manage a group, how to work together into building a project. It's more to that.
Cool.
responsibility. Like each of us have to complete out the task given and really involve not only task ourselves but if can help others also.
Okay. So, what do each of you all think is the main challenge that you all faced as a team? So
Now or before this?
The whole process.
The whole process.
So I mean, the whole process you all have a lot of challenges on the way
Yeah.
here, right?
Yeah.
So, which one do you all think, like each person, which one do you think is the greatest challenge you all faced?
Greatest challenge.
And how did you overcome it, or how do you plan to overcome it, if you have not overcome it yet?
So far is the programming because the 2 assessments when we were supposed to complete for 5 marks, right?
Yeah.
We didn't get any of those 5 marks because we had trouble doing the programming and corrections and stuff. So every detail counts. So.
Actually for me the programming at the first from beginning is the most annoying thing, the most annoying part for me.
So now you all have overcome that.
Now
Of the
overcome
difficulty.
and now is some challenges that we didn't think about it and now we're facing it.
So,
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, it was a bad move cutting off the chassis. Very bad move. But we didn't cut it, we don't have fit everything inside perfectly.
okay.
And then trying to think of a way to get the thing moving as fast as possible.
Moving incline.
No, cause it's
And
the trouble that we're facing is this motor wasn't supposed to be powered by mini AA batteries. It was powered by those even bigger size, about 15 volt to 20 volt. And the motor controller can't take that hit. So we were forced to use this and the whole car just couldn't move as fast as we wished. And problem is the car's
gear?
Height is so too low. Because it's made for running on normal roads or tarmac. It wasn't made for all terrain.
Okay. So
Yeah, and I'm trying to. And now the solution is programming. Or maybe tweak with the gears and weight distribution, or shave off any unwanted weight or parts of the car, which you can do to improve the.
so your opinion that is the greatest challenge for you?
For me, only me.
Okay. No, it's fine. Everyone thinks
Differently.
differently on what's their greatest challenge. So what do you think is the greatest challenge?
Well, basically during the previous assessment, the dynamics of it.
The assessments was the greatest challenge in your opinion.
Yeah, that's about it. Yeah.
So I mean, besides all these updates, yeah. So today you guys are gonna test it and
Yeah, not tested, so work it out.
work it out and use it. So
But where's the router?
the what? Sorry,
Router.
the router. I don't have it. Someone has it.
We can just get our own.
Yeah.
You have to.
But now, no point. You have to let me shave off every unwanted pieces.
So basically, do you have like chemistry class later or something? All of you?
Only
Session
was.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Of course. I mean, I'm just gonna, I'll leave the track open until they close the TIC today, so it'll be like 6 or something like that. You all can use it as long as you all want now. Just try to figure out any kinks and all that. I mean, if you all need this kind of test or whatever it is, the track will still be here until
Next week.
next week, before they move it out. It will just be here. So, I mean,
So actually, our real track won't be this.
it will be this,
It
but
will be a new one, like similar.
of course the floor they will have to pull it out and they will tape it again. But the wood sections will be the same. So, because you all need it, so I'm leaving it here with you guys. The track. I'm not telling them not to dismantle it. So you all can keep training on it.
This is an actual scale, right?
Just try
I
not
thought
to
it was
damage it.
5 times bigger than what it looks like.
I mean, measure, it looks very big, right, in the drawing, but if you think about it in real life scales, this size only. So, yeah, just try not to damage it. I'll leave it here, you all can just keep using it.
Okay, yes.
Just say whatever you need.
Okay. Thanks, Thanks.
Good luck.
Yes, thank you.
Can you help me get iBox?
iBox. Yeah. Okay.
Alright. Yo, oh, just use it? Oh, okay. I thought it's just you.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, bye.
Go. What's up? How you guys doing?
Fine.
Fine. Sure.
Good, very good.
Okay. So basically this session is for the purpose of Mushak just needs some updates and he wants to know like, how you all feel about certain things. Well, nothing much really. So if you all can, so I'm sure this has been a very long learning process for you all this entire semester.
of course.
In many ways.
Long fighting process.
So yeah, if everyone could just share like what was the main thing you all learned throughout this entire semester?
Teamwork.
Everybody. So it's teamwork.
A lot about mechanic stuff. It's like you being like pushed to learn what is gears and how does it work and how does this Arduino works, and it's kind of interesting.
For me, it's kind of like, because I'm not a patience boy, so I learned patience through this building the robot. But totally, I don't like this. I don't like waiting like for other people to do like some of the work. I prefer doing everything myself. But through this, what I learned is about like teamwork. Because programming, I knew that before. But the main thing for me is like working with a team, how to control the time management, team management, and everything.
Only the construction.
Yeah. So, besides the learning, I'm sure you all have faced a lot of challenges throughout your entire last 15, 14 years. So, to each of you, what do you think is the greatest challenge you all faced, and how did you overcome it? Or if you haven't overcome it, how do you plan to overcome it?
The greatest challenge.
The greatest challenge is like time management if you can see somewhere, because we have like everything is accessible here, like materials accessible, lecturers are accessible. The only time is limited, like because we have like exams and coming and everything. So I guess for us, like time management that counts the most compared to other process.
The your old time.
Yeah, it's up to date till now because as you can see last time when we test our robot, we weren't even expecting 2 minutes, we were expecting like 5 minutes for the first trial. And we came out with 2 minutes 8 seconds, which is pretty good for the testing.
Not too bad, yeah. So cool.
The time's kind of like limiting everything. It's like pushing us to do everything. Like although doing things last minute is not very good, but then it's like pushing us to do because there's like other tests and quiz going on and
Time.
yeah. And
I need to ask you something. If you need to return the robot, we just need to return the Arduino board and the wireless board, right?
Yeah, you can keep every other part of it. Unless you, yeah, you can keep every other. Unless you want to claim those parts up. No, as in, what about you two? What do you think is the greatest challenge that you face as a team? Or do you agree with them?
Yeah, I agree with them. But for me, no challenge.
Whoa.
I think it's only about programming the construction.
So the programming construction, you'll find that like really challenging or not? Okay. So, okay. Besides all that, how is your robot doing now?
oh yeah, I want to ask. The motor controller I use. We're using a Part B controller.
Okay.
And there's this is it VS or VN something like
VS plus VN, is it? Oh, you're talking about the three.
the 2 port by the side of the stuff. Like if I'm powering up using a 9-volt battery, should I use the VD one or the VN?
What?
Just to like
Using what, this tree, is it?
yeah, that tree.
This one is. You should be using the V in and ground.
So it's the right one, or is it the
I
left?
figure this one is laid out differently. It's the type A. The diagram, the wiring diagram that I put up
Yeah.
is for type B. We should show you which one you want to go in. Basically, avoid the +5 volt.
Or the first one?
Yeah. Go for ground and B.
So it's ground and VN.
Yeah.
So it can be powered by a 9-volt battery.
Yeah.
And during the test, can we like the power bank? Can we like carrying it or something? No. So everything have to be.
Some of the teams, I mean, you guys are really old budget and all that? Or
Budget
do you spend
is
a
not really a problem to us right now. We just are figuring the placing
How
of
much
stuff.
did you spend till now?
Till now,
800?
Quite a lot.
1000?
no. If you add in the Arduino,
Because Arduino and everything, this
it's just roughly around 800 plus. 700
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wow. I guess, like some of them, how they are powering their Arduino board, right? They are buying. They bought something that will plug into here.
Yeah. We tried that
So you
power jack.
Is it
but
powerful now?
no, the problem is, the power jack is round, right? So it can be like can rotate like stuff.
Yeah.
So when we kind of like the power jack kind of move a little,
You lose power.
the power kind of like reboot or something.
Oh wow. Okay.
So
That's dangerous.
so I'm thinking of an alternative or something like that. But the printer cable is too
long.
stiff and too long as well. So I don't know. I'm still figuring out that.
Okay. Otherwise, besides that, mechanically, your robot is it okay? And climb and stuff.
The climb is okay, but then I'm worried about when you go out and then you have to stop. I mean, like our robot can climb, but then the problem is like kind of like stuck at the.
It hits the
it
gears
hits
at the back, is it?
the edge part, yeah. So we kind of like I'm still figuring out how can it
Resolve that. Okay. Sure. So yeah, I'll leave it. DTRC will be open until I think 6 or so. And as long as you have no class, you can just stay here and just do whatever you want to. You can just use the track, just don't destroy it.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I mean, it will only be moved like sometime next week, just before the engineering, before your race.
Where will it be?
It will be right outside TTRC. So after I'm done with this, I'll just
When
walk
is the
and
race?
tell everyone.
When is the race?
When is the race? It will be on Thursday. It start at 9. In probably by tomorrow or later today, I will send out like the detailed scheduling, how we will run. So basically, you will have one try.
One try.
Yeah, the first try will be in the morning, so at 9 to 12, each of you get one try. You get some time to set up, then you get one try, certain time limit. Then you will break for lunch. Then we'll come back for a second run.
So you have to.
You will give your time to resolve anything if you all have any issues in the first try.
And the t-shirts. How much is the t-shirts?
Right, the t-shirts. I'm not sure about that. They didn't exactly communicate me. That I'll ask. I'll find out for you. That's it.
Okay, thanks. Thank you.
Okay. You guys can be bumbled.
Bumblebee.
Alright. Good luck.
Thank you.
So, yeah. So basically, what he wants me to ask you is, I'm sure in the past 14 weeks or so, you all learned a lot of things. So he just wants you all to share, like, each of you, what do you think is like the main learning that you all gained individually? Right. You're right or am I right?
I guess I'll start.
Yeah.
So the main thing that I learned, you can say, is about technology. This is totally new for me, and I'm not really well known about this technology and everything. So stuff using iPad and so on, and this is a very main thing for me when I enter Taylor's and this project is introduced to me. So I feel that technology is the main thing for me to learn.
For me, it's like really a new thing. I never tried the robotic before, and even my brother who was doing mechanical engineering also, he tried this one out, and I'm in foundation level, I'm doing this. I feel very proud of myself that I can do a lot of things about robot and everything, and yeah, it's a new experience for me. I learned a lot of things.
Okay.
For me, it's teamwork, because we don't really have much teamwork stuff in high school. So since I came to Taylor's, we got a lot of group work and learn how to cooperate with my members.
For me, it's the programming stuff is new for me, and also the technology stuff is also new for me. So it's like learning.
Cool. So besides learning, you all have your fair share of challenges, I'm sure. So what do you all think is the greatest challenges? The greatest challenge that you all face throughout this whole thing?
For robot, don't know anything about it. At first.
To build it and learn it. It's a very big challenge.
For me, it's like, especially as a teamwork, it's become a challenge to me. And now we are okay, everyone cooperated to do this. So I'm happy that we learn step by step. At first it's like no, then it's like okay, now it's like okay.
For me, the challenge building this robot. So it's not easy to step in something which you don't have any knowledge. So it's like very challenging for us. Then when come to teamwork, first we are very very no teamwork. Then we managed to overcome those challenges and we managed to produce our work in this way.
So I think from the sound of it, you all have all pretty much overcome your challenges, right? Right, so besides all that, how's it coming on?
The thing is cannot go up slow. I don't know.
So have you tried it yet?
I tried it with putting it to make it higher so that it can go, but it's not going. It's halfway done and it cannot go up. I don't know.
We've considered maybe it's not enough power.
Because like the power we have is like 12 volts. Like I don't know. Some teams are using 9 volt and they won't get go. And using 12 volts cannot go as well.
Your gear ratio?
It's type C.
You changed it.
What's type? I think cannot go out because it's like low top, so I actually to the taxi. Still cannot go out. So
Well, keep trying. Your you added stuff in the front wheel, but your back wheel is the one that's pushing the car, right? So I think you should add something in the back as well.
because the front wheel is like no grip at all, so I put this to get a grip. This one I don't know how to. If I put like say like this, can it go out?
You have to try. I wouldn't know for sure. Everything is different. Do you guys have anything else you want to ask? Like clarify or anything like that?
What if on the race day, the straight line, the straight lane, we are controlling it properly, but then somehow the robo race router or just the Wi-Fi disconnect because of the app problem, then it goes out of the lane. So do we get 0 for that?
I believe so. So I mean, one way I'm trying to help you mitigate it is I'm just gonna leave the track here until like the day before engineering fair. Anytime you want to come by and use it, as long as the DIC is open, go ahead. Okay, so you try now. You don't necessarily have to use the reverse router. If you want to use another router, if you found another one that is better, is more stable, go ahead. No limitations on that.
But the app itself is like, you know the router is very good one, but the app is sometimes disconnect. We don't know. It really disconnects.
Yeah. So I mean, you have to try until you get a proper combination. Sometimes this kind of stuff can get a little bit unpredictable. In any case, on race day, it was at 9. I'll release the more detailed schedule later, but it was at 9, then what? It was break for. Then you all will have one try, each team one at a time. The first run. Then you will all break for lunch, and then you will come back for the second try. So this will give you any time to, if you need to fix anything for the second run, or you want to try anything for the second run. The real race location will be right outside TTS.
Exactly the same track.
Yes. Of course, the stickers will be new stickers on the floor. Yeah, more or less the same. Okay. Alright. That's it.
Thank you.
Do you want that item? Thanks.
Hello.
Hi.
Good afternoon.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, so it's not really a formal session or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Michelle just wants a recorded update.
Alright, okay.
Yeah. So basically, what he wants to know is, so in the past 14 weeks or so, I'm sure you have learned a lot through this entire process. So, if each of you just tell me what do you think is the main thing you have learned? What's your main learning throughout this entire period?
Main thing I learned from this global race is like, cooperation among team members. So I think team members should be so cooperative to bring success towards the global race. I think cooperation is the main thing to work out to success.
Yeah, so it also teach me how to lead my teammate and all, and basically we had fun during this.
A lot of fun.
Yeah, doing a lot of things.
Yeah, we learn like basically what I've learned is like how to work with people and how to deal with like how to like really work together and how to not like depend on people too much as well. Yeah, and then we also learn like wiring, which I never liked at first. But now I can actually love doing it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, kind of love doing it. So.
Like programming stuff also, like we are from 18, so we are like don't know anything about programming. So teach us programming, then we know how to program.
It's fun to learn like all the things you learn so far. Yeah.
So, besides learning, I'm sure you also face a lot of challenges throughout the week.
Yeah.
So what does each of you think is like the biggest challenge you all face?
The uncooperative team member, of course.
Yes, member, mean one. It's
team member.
no, it's like because we try really hard because we're all from different sections and our timing are all different. So like the three of us and Adam, together he couldn't be here today, but like we all really work hard like to meet up, to get everything done and all. So far it's been so good, but then we have one particular team member that you don't really want to say who, but
it's obvious.
it's quite
okay.
obvious. It's like he hasn't shown up I think for quite a few weeks already.
A few times.
Yeah, actually a lot of times. I think he showed up for like 3 meetings out of every
Around,
day.
yeah.
Is he still enrolled?
I don't know, that's the thing. We haven't seen him and only the Saturday thing was our
Even
Monday
we call
is
him,
with
he
him.
doesn't pick up the phone and all.
Yeah, so besides that, after a while of him not showing up, we kind of just realized that okay, he's not gonna do anything, he's not gonna show up, so might as well we just learn to do everything on our own. That was like one of it. And then basically that lah. And then the meeting up only because of the timing and yeah.
So same, agree,
Same, yeah.
completely. So you guys are already united. So I mean, judging from all that, I guess you all have overcame that particular challenge. Cool. So, right, besides that, how's your robot doing?
It's actually going pretty well so far. Like all we're left to do is just the body.
Yeah, we
And
plan
then
to
we're
do the body next
next Tuesday because we're quite busy today and tomorrow. And then once we're done with the body, everything should be complete. Because
it works, right? Goes up here.
I tried, but then I want to know about the rubber band. You said about the rubber band tires.
I mean, it's just a try.
Oh.
Is it like to help with the grip or?
Because the day is super fast.
But I changed the gear already.
You got a ratio. Yeah. Okay. You haven't tried it yet, right? Today?
Not yet, because the rotor, right?
Oh yeah,
The router when missing, then it's over.
Yeah, that's the thing, because
I haven't seen my router for a really long time. But
So
okay.
Is there?
It's there.
Oh, cool.
Okay, it should be there because the
reappeared.
robots are moving, so I guess it should be somewhere in there.
Okay. That's nice. Okay. Yeah, I think actually that's pretty much it now. It's just a short update. So, you guys, anything you all want to like clarify?
I don't think so.
It's just yeah.
So, I've told them not to move the track until like next week, like the day before engineering fair. So,
Okay.
so whenever TTIC is open, whenever you have time, you can come and use the track. It's
So
fine.
basically the venue is here or?
It will be right outside TTIC.
For our race day?
So they will either move it on that morning or the day
Like the
before.
day
They will just
before,
move it out lah. Yeah, but before that, if you want to use it, just go ahead and use it. There's no damage.
Yeah.
It's fine, right?
I think it's pretty solid, right? I don't think.
I don't know. Maybe like someone can just get excited and step on it. That would be pretty cool. So yeah. Anyway, yeah. So you can just use it lah. On that day itself, we will start at 9.
At 9?
Thursday, 9 a.m. You will work where you have one session.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Then you will have a break in between for lunch.
Okay.
And then you come back for a second trial. So all 15 will go, then lunch, and then the 15 will go again. So yeah, you will have time to fix or do any modifications you all want to do.
During the break. Yeah. Okay.
During that break, or like after your turn, then
Okay.
you all can start.
The finalists on the evening, is it?
Thursday.
Thursday evening?
No.
During the first trial or second trial?
It's
Like the final.
They are the final races.
Okay.
You know the race standing at that time? The race standing and all?
We probably won't post live standing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I mean, it's 2 tries in case if you have any issues in the first one, you can
Okay.
always try to do
You
the
choose
second.
the best one or fit? Just take a few tries.
Okay, I cannot remember whether is it the average of 2 tries or is it the best of 2 tries. I will let you know. I will check with Chris because he set the particular rules. Okay? Yeah. So, yeah, you're a very fun teammate. You know, our 7 practicals when you passed out 1.
Who? Which one? Maroon. Okay.
You're a very fun teammate. So, yeah, I'm just saying, that's why I don't even know if he's still around. So, okay, yeah.
Probably not bad.
Thank you, sir.
Alright, okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, can you help me get a speed tightness?
Okay, sure. Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Hello, Mike. Yo. What's up? Have a seat, guys.
Yeah, seats.
We have seats outside.
Not these chairs.
Good chairs also.
Good.
So, yeah, it's not really anything, it's not really a formal session. Mushtaq just wants a recorded update.
I miss the Mushtaq.
I think they'll cut it out. But anyway, yeah, so basically he just wants to know, throughout your last 14 weeks or so, I'm sure you all have learned a lot of things. Okay? So he just wants you all to share like what do each of you think is the greatest, the biggest learning that you all gained from this experience?
First.
Biggest learning. Okay.
Don't miss things, this one.
Okay. It's just one.
The most significant thing.
So, basically I'm in charge of the programming and all the assembling, part of the assembling of the robot. So I think the biggest learning here is on the function of the boards because first of all, I'm not very interested into these electrical components. Back in Form 1, Form 2, I just...
Did it get better now?
No.
No. I don't believe it.
Seriously, I just don't like this thing because I tend to burn them a lot. I don't know why. Even the connections, it seems right, but it doesn't turn out well all the time. So yeah, I learned a lot from all these things, especially trial and error things, and it's about putting effort into it and finally it works.
I guess you face the adversity.
Mine's not a very technical thing, but meeting up deadlines and managing the group as a leader, making sure everything is happening and it's moving.
So
it's
they
just
all view you as like a mother figure, is it?
Yes.
say that.
Well, actually, I'm asking that.
So I just sometimes when there's no progress and I have to make sure there's some progress, there's big responsibility. So yes.
I'm in charge of assembling the robot, and throughout the entire time I was just like unscrewing things, screwing things, and I didn't know why the hell I was doing it. So, but I think the biggest challenge for me would be to overcome would be physical challenges, like in terms of fatigue and all these things, and to be able to concentrate while being dead tired. To be able to do precise work and neat work while being dead tired. Like, to me, that's the biggest learning thing.
So that's your biggest learning and also your biggest challenge.
Yeah.
Cool.
So it's a 2-in-1. So
in this semester I learned programming of robots, Arduino, and I did assignment design with my group. I learned, and it's very interesting for me. I like this, how to control this, how to control with iPad. And challenge for me was my group. They helping me. So.
Actually, I like that because coming from a different place and communication was a very big challenge in the beginning. We ourselves are being new and we have to explain things in an easier term. So now we are much better. So much easier to communicate.
Cool. So, okay, you all pretty much shared what your challenges are at the same time as well.
Yeah.
So, is it safe to say that you all have overcame?
Yes, we just did today morning.
Nice. Okay, so besides all those updates, how's your robot doing?
Okay, it's moving fine. During the trial race, we realized that our front section was not going up the slope because of the wheels. So we had reversed the whole thing and we have modified it today morning, so it's working fine.
Alright, so you tried it?
Yeah.
And it's great?
Yes.
Brilliant.
You just have to try again 100%.
Sure. So basically, I'm going to leave the track. I'm going to not ask them not to disassemble the track until the day before the race. Whenever TTCIC is open, whenever you have class, free time, you can come here and try as many times as you want. No issue. Just practice, because I know that you guys are big. You guys need the practice, so just take it. Anything else you want to clarify? No?
During the race day, I have a question. During the race day, do you have a certain time of our race?
So basically, I mean, I'll release like more detailed schedule either later today or tomorrow. So what it's gonna be like roughly is gonna be we will start at 9 in the morning. Then it will be first session. So 15 teams will go one at a time until lunchtime. So you will be given a short amount of time to set up, maybe like 1 or 2 minutes or so, or maybe 3 or 4. Then you will be given a set time where you must complete the track. So of course, if you complete faster, it's good, right? If you exceed the time limit and you don't complete, then it will count as did not complete. Then you will have lunch, you will come back for a second run. So you put it this way, so you will have time to correct anything if you need to, or improve it, or you want to try something different for the second run. Yeah, this.
Then you take the fastest of the 2 runs.
Yeah, this is the thing I need to check with Chris, because I can't remember, was it an average or 2, or was it the best of 2? I will get back to you all when I release all the details.
Okay.
When's the race going to be held?
Where?
Sorry,
when or where?
Where?
Where? Right outside TTIC.
Okay. Because then we will have the Wi-Fi as near as possible.
Yeah. So I mean, if you all want to like even go and try the floor outside TTIC, I have no objections.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Don't want to sit.
We love to stand.
Okay. Let's just check whether you are like.
Where's Sagan?
I don't know.
He was smarter.
It's okay lah.
Okay. So since you are standing, I'll stand also. Yeah. Okay. So this is nothing really formal or anything like that. Mushak just wants to have like an update.
Just the finalization of the robot.
Sorry?
It will be like the finalization of the robot.
What do you mean?
Like it will be like that during the competition.
No. You all can still. I mean, what you all need to do. You all just do whatever you all need to do to get to work. We're fine with that. So basically, yeah. So he just wants to know. Throughout this past number of weeks, you all really have learned quite a lot of things, right? So what do you all individually think is the greatest learning you all took away from this experience?
You mean the subject or the
this project?
What I learned the most.
Yeah. You learn the most, each of you.
Most probably of course the programming part. Yeah. Because we have like back then we have like clueless about the Arduino board, right? When you first call the Wi-Fi, we don't even know what the heck is this.
Okay. So programming. Yeah.
Basically it's about the team. It's quite tolerant in the sense that how like I can't make it for most of the meetings and how tolerant they are. It's kind of like important to see how that aspect is important in a certain team. Yeah, teamwork basically is there.
So you learned about teamwork.
Teamwork.
That's very good.
It's more probably team management. Let's say a member pop out and say, once you've done this, you can go back. That's simple.
Okay.
Yeah, team management.
The ladies of the team.
Programming also. Why won't teach us about the programming things? Yeah.
That's the greatest part you learned about project.
Learn a lot about programming, wiring, all the setting, and also teamwork, how we manage our time.
So when besides learning, I'm sure you all have faced a lot of challenges on the way.
Yeah.
So what do each of you think is like the greatest challenge you all faced so far? And how did you all overcome it? And if you haven't overcome it, how are you planning to overcome it?
So like when the thing is operating, you think it's fine, but the next day you wouldn't know that it just stopped working.
That's your greatest challenge.
Yeah,
the unpredictability of this electronic instrument.
Why even move? And I think the most greatest challenge is like
last time I crashed it from the table, then the steering would work. Don't know why. And then it changed almost literally everything, and it doesn't work. But it works after I changed the pin.
Cool.
And it worked. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me why. It just worked. So,
Yeah.
that's it.
Anyone else? I mean, actually not anyone else. Everyone else. What do you individually think is the greatest challenge? Is it because there's no challenges? I mean, like no hard challenges or is it?
I think no
When it comes down like on the day of assessment, like
It always
like
goes wrong.
5% everything, yeah. Something happens, I don't know what to blame it on. It's like karma or something.
So you pretty much kind of agree that the unpredictability of
Yes.
this whole thing is the greatest challenge to you all.
Normally, like until the last day and everything, like,
It's
it's
like
like
we
5 months, 5
thought,
months.
it's like we thought we perfected it, and then when the day comes, it's gone already.
Basically, that day was like the test run, we didn't get it because we ran out of battery for the Arduino and the connection was like rubbish.
Okay, cool. So, okay, besides those, how's your robot? Is it
working?
So it goes up, comes down,
Slow, goes slow.
can
More than one
drift, can spin.
Not really. Yeah, we slow it down. What we want to back then it was too far. Now we slow it down so that it give us more control.
Okay, cool. So everything is fine with you all?
Really fine.
Have you tested this now?
Yeah, working.
Okay. So
when the actual location will be held here, right?
right outside the TRC. Right outside. Yep, we'll just move it outside. So I've told them not to dismantle the track. So anytime you all need to use the track, from now until the day before the race, as long as the TSC is open and you all.
The real track is going to be different, right?
This is the real track.
Oh, so this is the real
The
track.
same size. It's the same size. It's the exact real track, so don't damage it because there is only one. Okay. But whenever you all need to use it, if you don't have classes and the TSC is open, you can come and use it.
But the finish line is not going to fit for...
We don't have to fit once most of the robot has passed it.
The last part, the tightrope thing, even though I kind of like dangle it out, but I can still manage to get back.
It's fine as long as you don't fall off the track and cannot control it completely. There's a reason why we elevate it because your robot of that size, if it goes off the track enough, you will just fail, right? You will not come back up again. So you can dangle it off, balance it, precariously, it's fine as long as you get it past the finish line. So basically, we're gonna put the finish kind of like that. It's very limited space at the finish line, but as long as your robot pass the finish line and touch the end of that platform, we count you as finished.
Can you just crash down?
Yeah, fine. You can just crash down, you just fly past. Fine, absolutely fine. Okay?
Is that Arduino Mega, the big one?
Yeah, the big one. It was used for another project in the past times, so we had another copy. But anyway, yeah. So the race on that day would be from 9 o'clock. It will start at 9, okay? Till probably until 3 or so. There's a closing ceremony after that, I'll let you know. Which will be together with the engineering fair.
You have to wear formal or...
You know where the engineering fair clothes.
they provide.
I will have to ask them for more details on that because I'm not sure about the pricing. But in any case, the race will be something like this. I will release the detailed schedule later, but you will each be given a certain amount of time to prepare. Okay. Then you will be allocated a certain amount of time to complete the track. Faster is good, of course. If you exceed the time, it will be counted as did not complete. Okay. So you will have first try. So each 15 teams will go. Then you go for lunch. Then you will come back and then you have a second attempt. So this long time in between is if you need to tweak your car, if you need to change.
One attempt only, right? The actual race.
No, the actual race is these 2 attempts.
2 attempts.
So I cannot remember whether it was best of 2 or is it choose the best. Sorry, no, is it like average of 2 times or is it the best of 2? So I will let you know later when I release the details to everyone now. Okay. For the time being, that's all I have to say. Anything else you all want to say? You want to clarify? What's up? Just stop there.
Oh, so the race is based on checkpoint,
The race is based on checkpoint. The points will be given every time you pass one checkpoint, you get 5 points.
Yeah. But completing the race, you get another 25.
Completing the race completely, you will get the full 20 points up. Then the remaining, there's another 25 points, which will be awarded based on time, where you'll be ranked. So of course, if you complete the fastest, you will get the full marks. Then you would slowly drop based on.
So the race will be held like outside. That everyone will be like there will be spectators, right? Spectator.
Sure. If anyone wants to come and spectate, they are of course welcome to. So you're fine with that, right?
Nothing wrong with that. Some Wi-Fi interference. I don't know. The more people, the more interference in case.
Try. There are an extension plus and all that, so we will try to bring the wire router as close as possible to the track. Okay, so it will be better for you. Because this space inside here, they're using it for year 4 final year project presentation.
So that day, the engineering day will be 2 days long, right?
It will be 1 day long.
1 day long.
Yeah. And everything's going to happen that day. So you can expect like crazy mess.
Some Mushtaq, he said that will be like 200. No, not like zero. People say there will be like 200 over booths, right? Of the day.
Oh yeah, okay. If you want to count the project, all the final year projects, yes. Because you would have a booth per team, so a team's about 4 or 5 people. But the final year project, they give one booth per person because it's a solo project, right? So. Okay. Anything else, you guys?
No.
Okay, very fine.
Right.
Okay, thanks. Very good. Could you help me get Avengers?
Avengers.
Avengers will be Navin. Yes.
Okay. Thanks. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Okay. So anyway, what he wants to know is, so in the past 14 weeks, I'm sure it's been pretty interesting for you guys. For this, in terms of this project,
yeah.
So he wants to know, what do you all like individually think is like the biggest learning that you all got out of this project?
Working in a teamwork is not easy because different people got different attitude and we have to like bond with them to make a good teamwork. So it's quite hard.
So have you all bonded?
But yeah, we did. Yes, we did.
I think for me though, like the biggest challenge is creating something in an unfamiliar field. Like because robotics is like, oh, we never did have any background in robotics, and you guys like, oh, so you just like, oh, create a project in a new field. So I'm like, okay, that's interesting. So we had to learn about it, and then we had to actually create something within this 14 weeks with other people that we just met. So it's something we learned.
It's interesting how you link the greatest learning to also the greatest challenge.
Yay!
No, it's just an observation.
Can you go?
Bro.
Greatest learning would be like teamwork, which I think I failed because my previous team had to split because we failed to work together.
Kenneth.
Why did you join them? I mean, look at this guy. Okay, anyway.
I give motivation to people. Where's my whip?
Okay, fine. So,
you guys are a couple, no, after you.
We won't look at you.
For me, the great challenge was understanding each other. Yeah, because we don't know how others feel, how others think, and how they will respond to something that we do. So that's the most challenge
and learning.
Well, actually, it's still. Hey! You know this is not the not counted to our GPO.
Yes, I don't know, you don't know it, right?
Fine. So, yeah.
Can I see the maker?
Sure.
It's so cool.
Besides, okay, so besides learning, what is the greatest challenge that you all face and how do you overcome it? So, Navin, you answered. Well, you sort of answered. So. the greatest challenge that you all face? Or unless you have something to add.
Learning how to use the equipments.
Equipment.
Yeah, it's quite new to us. Before this, we've never used all those Arduino board and all. So the programming is quite a challenge for me, but shouldn't be any, like, because we have Navi in the group, so he's in charge of the programming and he helped us a
Yeah, I
lot.
offered your programming.
Good stuff.
Yeah, everyone said my challenge already.
My challenge working with her.
Someone's gonna get later. Yeah, so besides the update, how's your robot doing?
Just the front wheels that we have to change.
Yeah, front wheel.
Because when it's going up the track, it's too small to properly go up. So we just need to find better wheels.
Can we add like 3 wheels instead of 2 wheels?
I don't think it can fit.
So I noticed that when you all were trying, right? Don't you think you turn it a little bit too much when you want to turn?
Because how the programming is written is that we don't put angles that the servo takes. It takes 90. It takes 90 is straight. Then it takes 45, and it takes 135, and then there's 0 and 180.
Oh, wow.
So there's only 5 of this we can take. So I have to change it again. So later we're gonna experiment again.
Okay. All right. Yeah, but you have a pretty interesting concept of how you like this. Yeah. So have you tried it just now?
Not yet.
We're gonna try it later.
Yeah, we just saw lazing around.
Cool. Basically, right, so I've told them not to dismantle the track until a day before the engineering fair.
Okay.
So whenever you all have any free time and the TIC is open, you all can just come in and use the track. Just don't get so excited and snap on it.
Yeah.
The race will be directly outside the TIC.
And
TTIC,
that will be the
not
track.
SLC.
So that is the final track. Of course, they have to stick the stickers there, but your elevated portion, which is that's the important part, is that.
Okay.
So yeah, on race day, it will start. You will have 2 attempts.
Not 3.
2 attempps. You won't have time for 3 attempts. Unless
Okay.
you're gonna stay until night time. So basically, you'll be given some time to set up, and then you'll be given a fixed time to finish your race.
Okay.
So if you finish before the fixed time, of course, the faster the better.
Yeah.
If you exceed that time, then you will be counted as did not complete.
So let's say we finished the straight and then we did the turning and then we have some difficulty going up and we cannot go up during the fixed time, it's considered not finished.
Did not finish. So what will happen is you will get marks for crossing the checkpoints.
Okay.
But you know your marks are combined out of 2 parts, right? You will have checkpoint marks and you have time marks. So if you did not complete, you will not get any time marks.
Okay.
Okay.
Then you would have the first attempt would run in the morning, you go for lunch,
okay,
and you'll come back for the second attempt. So there's a very long time in between. If you need to change anything, that's the time you do it.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's it. Anything else you want to clarify?
No.
etc.
No. Okay.
Yeah. Cool.
Thank you, Mike. Bye.
Can you get me Tech 4?
Oh, that's Eugene's group.
So basically, he just pretty much want to know, throughout your entire project, what do each of you think is like the greatest learning that you all took away from this project? Greatest learning.
Programming.
Meeting deadlines.
Meeting deadlines.
For me, that's a lot. How to think of the design, which way goes which way, and then what fails, and then because we fail a lot of times, and then we came up with one design.
So you'd say the greatest learning would be designing the robot.
Yeah.
How about yours?
Programming.
Okay. That's fine. So I mean, besides learning, you all have a lot of challenges along the way, for sure. So what do each of you think is like the greatest challenges that you all face as a team throughout this entire time?
Just to team. Getting everyone at the same place.
Getting everyone at the same place. So okay, yeah. Coordinating all these meetings and stuff. That's the That is what you think is the greatest challenge for you.
For me, it's when, because at first we were way back before the team test was coming up. We were trailing behind almost everything. We didn't get any materials yet, we didn't get design yet, we didn't have any meetings yet. Other teams are like, oh, we got this already, we got this, we left this. So it's a challenge to pick up ourselves. It's quite hard, but then we did it.
Cool.
Yeah, I agree with Sapuan because we are not from the same section, so we can't really together.
So would you say you all have overcame all the challenges that you all faced? That you all, what you mentioned, these challenges, did you all overcome all of them?
I think this solved both of our challenges.
Okay. And this time thing, how did you all overcome that? Did you all overcome it?
Actually, it's quite like a coincidence because after that was the Deepavali holiday. So we had, every time, the whole holiday, we were like focused on this.
So you all met up?
And we caught up with that in the time.
Cool.
Got marks?
No marks.
It's bonus one.
Too much, right? Okay. So, off the record, you would be glad to know that you guys are actually leading at this point in time in terms of marks.
Really?
After video assessment, you guys are
really?
Is the margin very far from the next piece or?
First? Because I mean,
Oh wait, we are first.
At this point of
Oh.
time. Congratulations.
Wait.
So keep it up, definitely. Yeah. I mean, I suddenly thought of checking the marks because I was counting this morning.
What's the difference between
Yeah, the first and the second. A lot? Little?
Okay. The difference is about 1%. But look at it this way, okay. How we calculate that was based on your video presentation. We marked it over 100 and then we put it down to 15%. Your proposal, we marked it out of 100 and put it down to 10. So actually your margin is pretty wide in terms of marks, raw marks, but in percentage it seems very little. So yeah, good job.
Yes!
Okay. Besides that, how's it doing?
It's ready for race, I think. You just charge the battery out and then it's okay.
Cool. So you're tested already, so?
Yeah.
But this one quite move to the right side.
Yeah. It's not aligned.
I think there's something wrong with the track because it goes down, so there's this little bump there.
Oh really?
Yeah, it's not straight.
And the
it's
slope
going up.
is like here, the side come out a bit. And
Okay,
the side
I'll
come
have
down.
a look at it because
Yeah.
the way the track was designed is actually able to change angles if we need to. So maybe it got a bit loose. Okay, so I'll have a look at that later. But okay, so you guys are pretty well and nice. And then your chill. So anything else you want to ask? Want to clarify? Want to say, etc. Not particularly.
How about the next test? The individual test?
That one is under the theory department by Mushtaq, so I'm not sure what he's going to set for me. But anyway, yeah, I'll tell you some of the things you should know. Okay. I'm going to leave the track there. I'm not going to dismantle it until the day before the race. So whenever you all have any free time, you want to come and do any testing, practicing, whatever it is, go ahead. Okay. And the race day itself, the race will be held right outside TTS. So we will move the track some side out. The race will start at 9 and you will have 2 attempts at the race. Okay. So in the morning, you will have the first attempt, then you go for lunch, and you come up for the second attempt. So each team will give it some time to set up and some time to complete. Exceed the time to complete, you will count as did not complete. Okay.
Exceed the time that we complete.
So like if we give you 10 minutes, and within 10 minutes you still cannot complete the track, we will say that you did not complete. So you will get marks for checkpoint, but you will not get marks for time. Okay. So the thing I can't remember is whether is it best of 2 tries, or is it the average. I'll let you all know when I come up with the formula.
During the race, if we cross the boundary, it's a straight field.
The ground level boundary, yeah.
Why don't
If
you
you
give
cross
a
the
time
ground,
penalty?
we'll consider that. We'll consider that. But it's quite unlikely it will change. I mean, so late into the thing already. But in any case, yeah. We'll run it like that.
Like sudden death.
Yeah. I mean, if you leave the track, we want to see how. I want to see how bad is it first, because I know that I heard a lot of people are like losing connection at times.
Yeah.
So if it's really that bad, I would consider a time penalty instead of a straight DQ. Okay. I think some of them has asked the last part of the track, leave the boundary. Like the tightrope, if you leave the boundary. But if you're still able to balance your car and finish it, it counts.
It means like half on
It
the
counts. Yeah. There's a reason why we elevate it. If you exceed the boundary and then your car just falls off, then sorry lah, I can't help you lah. But because it's so tight, if you really do leave the boundary, but for somehow some miraculous thing you manage to finish without completely falling off the track, it counts. Okay. That's it. Anything else? No? Okay. Alright, cool. Can see you all a bit.
Okay.
Happy.
Thank you.
Can you guys help me get a teleport?
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. So what Usha wants to know is, so for the past 14 weeks or so, I'm sure you all have learned quite a fair bit throughout this entire project. Not just about the technical stuff, I mean your team working with it. So he wants you to like individually share what is like the greatest learning you all have. What the greatest thing that you think you've learned out of this individually. So can we start from right?
Greatest thing I've learned is, it's only one thing, it's about teamwork. Because during my high school, it's everything individual stuff. So I prefer individual, but enrolling in Taylor's based on this project-based learning, the teamwork is kind of important.
So after this whole thing, it's still solo or
no?
teamwork?
I prefer teamwork. We can bond a lot.
Cool.
For me, it's building the one robot car. Yes, and also the teamwork, because firstly, building a robot not successfully because we not a lot of knowledge about how to programming, what material we need to use. So but now we can conduct the robot perfectly, and then the thing we can learn later.
So your greatest learning is how you do all this robot stuff.
It's a project.
Cool. Cool.
Teamwork is one of the greatest thing that I've learned, but also is the basic material that we have to buy, where we learn a lot of research.
Okay, for me is basically first is building a robot, and if no teamwork, we can't manage to build this thing for now, because from the start until now, we really face a lot of difficulties for building one moving robot, and it's like with teamwork, we managed to overcome all the difficulties together, and also through a lot like programming stuff and also the connection and everything. And finally now we can control this robot with an iPad. For me, it's really a wow.
Okay, first of all, yeah, of course, teamwork is important because we can build it without them. And then after that, we face a lot of challenges. Like we bought a wrong motor, and then we learn from others. We buy, and then we share our feelings. We build it together, And I think basically learning, first of all, is robot, of course, about programming. Realize we learn ourselves. If we don't know, we will ask from other teammates. Yeah, this one is one. So teamwork is most important.
Okay. So some of you kind of answered the next question. It's what is the greatest challenge that you all face, and how do you overcome it?
Overspend.
That's the greatest challenge.
That's the greatest
material.
Buying the wrong materials.
Did you overcome that challenge?
Yeah, managed to overcome, and that's
Of course we spend on.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. So, actually, this one kind of like the two things he wants to know. So, besides that, how's your robot doing?
Yeah, everything's fine. Just the controller, the one who control.
The person who controls the robot have
to practice.
have to practice a lot.
So you all tested it just now?
Yeah.
Yeah. It goes up, goes down.
Yep.
Everything's cool.
Yep.
Okay, brilliant. So basically, I'm not going to dismantle the track for now until the day before the race. So whenever you all got free time and the DRC is open, feel free to come down here and try.
Sure.
Okay. Just keep practicing until you get it work.
Where will be the venue for the final race?
Right outside the PTSC.
Outside there.
Then how about the engineering fair?
The engineering fair would be running. I think this time would kind of like be the largest engineering fair, because you would pretty much see booths all the way from the end of Block E. To here. I mean, you will not see those in front of the shops, but you will have inside TTIC there will be another poster presentation session by final year's release. So you guys will be outside. So you probably have an audience from inside as well. That's fine, right?
Yeah.
No pressure. Okay. So anything else you want to ask?
No. Everything is okay.
I'll just mention briefly about the race. So the race would be split into 2 attempts. Okay. So it will start at 9 AM. You will run your first attempt that starts. So each attempt you will be given a certain amount of time to set up, and then a certain amount of time to complete the track. If you exceed that time, then you'll be counted as did not complete.
But we still get marks for the checkpoint.
Checkpoints, yes. So you do know that your race is split into 2 parts, right? For the marks, you will have checkpoint marks, and you will have time marks. So if you exceed the time, of course, you will have no marks for time. Okay.
So it's like when we race individually, then we count the marks, or we just like
race individually, not together. How you're gonna fit all the robots on the agents part of the track, right?
Okay.
But, yeah. So we will race individually, and then you will count the time. So I mean, if everyone completes the track, then we will have to look at time. You will be ranked on time. So you will get your base 20 marks.
So for the 2 attempts, we just pick one of the higher marks.
I need to check this one. I cannot remember what it is. Okay. So it's either best of 2, means like you said, pick one, the best one, or it is an average time.
Yeah, I'm not the only one lah.
Alright?
So it's like for the first checkpoint is a straight line. So it's like if we touches the line, does it consider as disqualified, or we exit the line on?
Okay, here's the thing if you exit the line, you will be DQ. But we are considering something now. It's because you all are frequently having a lot of connection problems. A lot of people.
Yeah.
So we are considering giving a time penalty instead of straight disqualifying. Okay. So of course you will still get incentive if you stay inside line. If you exceed it, you will get time penalty, and then you will be moved back to the closest point.
Exceed it might be like 1 mil or half of the robot.
So the moment you exceed it, it's time penalty. So I mean, I'll have to discuss this with all the committees. So let's see how it works out.
Race individually as in a group, right?
Yeah, group by group.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why you need 3 hours to run through 15. Alright?
Yep.
Cool.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, can you guys help me get the 5?
Okay, sure.
Thank you. 5. So this isn't really a formal session or it's just that Mooc just wants like an update because he's busy and he can't be here. So he wants to know in the past 10 plus weeks that you've been working on this program, I'm sure you have learned a lot of things.
Yeah.
So he wants to know like, what is your greatest learning from this experience?
For me, as a programmer, at start I didn't know what is going on in front. Like, the first time you taught us the programming, and I was like, what is this? I'm so not going to do this. Then after when it came to that job breakdown, then I got programming. So I tried to learn it, then I find it interesting. Then I can do like so many like cool stuff. Adjust this, adjust that.
Cool.
So I learned more on programming, and I know it's like one advantage to learn programming nowadays.
Okay.
From Ireland, because when they started doing programming and the robot, I was in the hospital. So I was sick and all. So when I came back, there's like 75% done. So I couldn't do the programming because I like programming, but I couldn't do it because Sukdesh was in charge. So I let him do it, and he knew more. So he taught me on the electrical component, how to fix, and I kind of liked it. I knew where to put where. This one become the lighting. So it taught me much. It made me a better engineer somehow. I mean, not a better engineer, better knowledge about this.
Okay. For me, I also learned the programming part. Programming part, and some more the design, how to make it like something you design but not so like you can't make it, so you need to add something or hot glue gum or something. I do part of like the construct part. Something like this. Then the design also I do a little bit because last time when Sudesh do, I beside him to the knowledge.
I learned a little about programming, even though I'm not so good at it. And I learned how to fix stuff because I'm not that good at it. Yeah, that's all.
Okay, besides learning things, I'm sure you all face a lot of challenges along the way. Still facing some now. So, what do you all think individually is the greatest challenge that you all face throughout this time?
Okay, for me the greatest challenge is where we'll be like so excited doing this code and stuff. Like, look at our friend, it's working, then you upload it here. It's not working, and you'll be wondering why. You have to do this, do that. Still only one set. So.
My greatest challenge, I was very hard to communicate with them because at first I was in a different session with Amma and Merlin, and Amma was ahead, and so it was very hard. And because I'm using a car, but I'm sharing my brother the car. So at times when they wanted to stay back, I had to go home. So I overcome that by changing my session with Amma so I could talk to him more.
For me, it's also the same with the Sudesh. Every time we done the programming thing, then we upload, they cannot move, then we need to find out what is the causes.
So the unpredictability of the whole thing.
We cannot know what will happen next.
See.
Really? We still have a member, Amma, didn't come because something.
He has eyesight, I think.
It's okay, it's fine. So, I'm just an observation. I find it interesting that you all didn't mention teamwork or anything in terms of challenge or in terms of as a challenge or as a learning. So do you all are like really good teamwork? Would you say?
Each of us, when a task is given, we do it.
So you all really you already clicked the moment it started.
No, because when I was in the hospital and I came back, they really took their time to teach me what to do and how to. And Subyesh took some of his time, his studying time to teach me about a bit of programming and electrical components.
Subyesh and Amma is like leader for us.
Yeah.
Lead us.
Nice.
So he told us what to do.
Yeah, I pretty much know what's up with your robot so far. Okay.
Now our robot is like cannot move. Cannot move.
The side, right?
Yeah.
What happened?
But sometimes it's working. It's like, how? What do you do?
But you hear that sound, that sound?
Yeah.
Yeah. When it doesn't work, I also get that sound. So I mean, I don't know whether it's it.
But no light at all.
Yeah. But there is power going through, right? Because there's that sound, but maybe it's just not enough. So yeah, what I was thinking is, I think it's a little too rush if you all need to go get a motor controller or whatever it is without really verifying. So okay, the race goes like this. Okay, it will start at 9 to 12, and then you have your first attempt, then you have a break, then you have your second attempt. Okay, so you could try to maybe jump for another team.
With the motor controller.
No, Mike, but now the issue is I need to like prepare it like kind of now, so because I don't know whether
Yeah,
you can
that's
pass
the
the
thing, right?
incline or what.
So I give you one second alternative, which is you can just use mine for the time being. But mine is a type A, so you have to change the program.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm kind of worried about the Arduino. Because I just only I re-upload, and when I press backward, it still goes forward. I don't know. Is it because of the
Could be the motor controller, it could be a bit messed up already.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you just try that. But you have to change the code now. You
Yeah.
understand the concepts between the two codes, right? So okay. Look into that. The track, I'm not asking you to dismantle it until the day before the race.
Okay.
So anytime you all have free time, and TTIC is open, feel free to come down and try it.
Okay.
Yeah, just try it out. That's it. The race will be held right outside of TTIC.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Anything else you want to clarify?
No, that's all.
That's all?
Yeah.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay. Could you give me I3?
Okay, I think.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Good luck.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye. Okay. So yeah, Musha just kind of wants to have like an update So yeah, what happened to your other teammates?
One of the team, Il and two of them have a class now.
It's fine. Okay. I was expected to all run it.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah. So basically, what I've done, what I want to know is, I'm sure you all learned a lot in the last 10 weeks or so. So you know, individually, what do you think is the greatest learning from this process?
The Arduino part, the programming, the new things.
The greatest learning also for you.
Yeah, actually it's also like same programming things and something like designing, all those things. I learned about a lot of things in not only in design like CDI, putting in the concept of CDIO inside it, and yeah, I feel great at the time. Then learn a lot.
Cool. So besides that, you know what? Besides learning, what do you think is the greatest challenge you all face individually?
Okay, individually, there are some. As I am a team leader, I have to guide the members. Sometimes like meetings, they're late for the meetings. But although they're late, they also have come for meetings. Of course, I need to be patient and wait for them. So that kind of challenge to gather members is very challenging, and learning process also lah. In Arduino, the programming language also quite, because it's a new things for me. So I take a lot of time also to learn the programming stuff.
For me, it's actually when my last team Alex gone, that's my biggest challenge because Alex control all the programming, and he left. We three don't know how to do, but finally we get the 5 marks. Then we decide to split.
So I mean, yeah. How for yours the teamwork thing? How do you? I mean the gathered team thing. How did you overcome this challenge?
By overcoming, call all the time, call them, yeah.
So eventually they just.
Yeah, just come.
So
come
you fix them like in a sense.
In the sense of fix, it's just solve only lah. But sometimes we'll like one member will not come, but we will still discuss even though one of them. Then I just Facebook there. I could create a group chat there. Then yeah, we say today what's the progress everything.
So, okay. Besides that, how's your robot doing?
Do you mean now the problem?
No, your robot now. How's it? Is it okay?
Basically, no, I mean, yeah, it's okay actually. It's okay. IT.
The ambulance, right?
The ambulance, metal track 8, yeah, MT8. Okay. Yeah, actually the rotation is okay as you suggest me the C configuration. I change back the one.
So is it better?
It's better now.
Okay. So have you tested it just now?
Yes, I tested it.
And it moves the track.
It's still like Friday time. Still at normal lah, like normally.
But the track got a little bit off.
I think it's a little bit. Some people say it's a bit.
No, I mean,
off,
he mean our car actually is not
the car track.
The car track. Yeah, it's like coming. It's coming out. I just feel.
We use a lot of things like hot glue gun to stay, but cannot.
Stick the gear part on the gear part, turning part, and the track is still like very loosening, but it still can go lah until to the ending there. Then you remember right? It's coming. Yeah, I need to fix the things the gear part only. Maybe the gear part is shaky. Then make the tracks to like loosening come out.
So okay, the track. I will not be removing the track. I mean, I'm telling him not to remove it until the day before the race. So whenever you have a free time, or whatever it is, and TTIC is open, come down, try it, go for it. Okay. Just keep testing it until next Wednesday or so.
Robo race is next Thursday.
Next Thursday. So it will be right outside of TTIC. Okay, and it will start at 9. So the race would be 2 tries. Your race will have 2 tries. Okay. So you will go one team by one team. Each team will be given a certain time to set up. Okay. Then you can race. You can just run the track lah. Okay. So there's a set time also for the track. If you exceed the set time, you will count as did not complete. So as you know, your race has 2 mark components. You have checkpoints and you have time. So if you did not complete, you will get no marks for the time, but you will get marks for the checkpoint as long as you pass them. Okay. Then, do you suffer from issues of disconnection from the router?
I'm using my old router. Yeah.
Better was able not disconnecting.
Cause last time I used the Robo Race one. It's still okay. It's okay actually. It's okay.
So okay. I mean, it's just an extra consideration because yeah, a lot of people are saying that sometimes disconnect and things like that.
Then
something
reconfigure it.
And tap the app and then just go crazy or something. So yeah, we are considering whether if you exceed the track boundaries, instead of a direct disqualification, we are considering time penalty instead.
Do you mean that the time, if we exceed the time, okay, every checkpoint there is a time, is it?
No,
the whole race.
The whole race. So let's say I give you 10 minutes. Within 10 minutes, I mean, if you finish in 1 minute, cool, great. So your time will be marked as 1 minute.
That's the fastest one then.
Then if your time is the fastest after it's ranked, then you will get the full marks for your time. Then slowly minus. So.
Why you want set this kind of time?
Because it works like that in the race.
So it means if you go other place, it's minus mark, not disqualified.
No, we are considering, not finalized yet, we are considering that if you exceed the track, instead of directly saying okay bye, we will just say like okay, add 5 seconds. So then we reset you come back in. If you exceed again, we get 5 seconds.
Are we supposed to bring back in or just let it go back to the...
You will bring back in to the point where you exit, and then you try to continue the race.
That's okay. Better than
direct.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. So in the case that if this thing does not go through and you will still DQ, the last part of the track, if you leave the track, but somehow you can still balance your robot and finish the race, you still count as win. I mean, you still count as you completed.
Okay. I understand.
So, do you have anything you want to clarify?
Rules. The rules?
Yeah, rules. Race
rules.
Specific race rules. Pretty much that, right? I mean, you pretty much all know what you need to know. Besides whether now is it DQ or is it that time, or let you know that one, the update on that. But yeah, everything else you know.
Okay,
Is it?
Is it
That's your track.
Is there another team like helicopter?
If that team can make it, their team will be having some special circumstances lah. Musha is going to discuss with them.
So every checkpoint is it that if we the straight motion one, I finish the checkpoint already. Then suddenly the checkpoint is another like 90 degree. I go out already, so I don't need to restart the checkpoint or I need to restart every entire checkpoint.
You will go out, you will come back to the point where you left the track. So if you went out like that, this is the boundary and you went out like that. If we do that, we will bring you back here like this.
But just add 5 seconds as you said. Like
5 or 10. I mean, it will be on, we are still considering it.
Can I, I mean, if just I said the track at the time, I'm all the time, if anything happened to the car, but it's still okay, like it still function, it still can go, I just fix a bit the tracks to make it to...
Or you want to stop it and then fix the track?
Just fix a bit only, can? Is it?
No.
No, can also?
You cannot intervene.
Intervene.
You cannot intervene.
Okay, this one. Thank you.
Okay. So I mean, because you can keep trying, just try to figure out a way to fix that track thing if you can. Alright?
Thank you.
Good luck. That's it, right? Nice. Hi team. Okay.